How to Stop Overthinking Buddhist Story. Welcome to Lotus Light Teachings. In today's video, we're uncovering how to stop overthinking through the lens of a profound Buddhist story. If your mind feels like a storm, endlessly spinning with what-ifs and should-haves, stay with us. This story and its timeless wisdom will bring you peace and clarity. The tale of the rice grinder monk. Long ago, in a quiet monastery nestled high in the misty mountains of China, a young novice monk arrived, seeking truth. His eyes burned with ambition. He wanted enlightenment, wisdom, and answers to life's deepest questions. "Master," he asked one day, "what must I do to attain enlightenment?" The master, a serene figure with kind but penetrating eyes, responded in a way that bewildered the young monk. "Grind rice." The novice blinked. "Grind rice?" he repeated, incredulous. "Yes," the master said calmly. "You will grind rice every day to feed the 500 monks here. Do this, and enlightenment will come." The young monk was disappointed but obedient. Day after day, he sat at the millstone, grinding rice from morning until night. The work was tedious. His hands blistered, his back ached, and his mind raced with questions. Why this task? Why not meditate in the temple? How does grinding rice teach me anything? The days turned to months, and then years. Over time, something unexpected happened. The rhythm of his work began to quiet his restless mind. As he pushed the heavy stone, he no longer fought the monotony. Instead, he let go. The thoughts that once plagued him, "Am I good enough? Will I ever achieve enlightenment?" faded like mist in the morning sun. Grinding rice became his meditation. One day, after years of this practice, the master summoned all the monks. "The time has come to choose a successor," he declared. The learned monks, proud of their years of study, stepped forward. Each recited profound teachings and displayed their knowledge of scripture. Then the rice grinder monk approached. "What have you learned?" the master asked. The monk smiled softly and said, "The mind is like this millstone. It grinds endlessly, but when you stop feeding it with thoughts, it becomes still." The master nodded. "You have understood the essence of enlightenment. You will be my successor, breaking free from the trap of overthinking." In the whirlwind of modern life, overthinking has become a universal struggle. We analyze, dissect, and replay situations in our minds, hoping that thinking more will lead to clarity. Yet, paradoxically, the more we dwell, the more entangled we become. The story of the rice grinder monk serves as a timeless lesson, showing us that freedom from overthinking doesn't come from thinking harder but from letting go. This tale invites us to explore three profound lessons. Our thoughts are not reality. The present moment is the key, and simplicity brings clarity. Let's journey deeper into these teachings, reflecting on their transformative power in our daily lives. The mind is a millstone, tirelessly grinding. In the story, the monk's task of grinding rice symbolizes the constant churning of thoughts. Day and night, his mind produced questions, doubts, and fears. He initially believed, as many of us do, that if he could just think deeply enough, he would find answers. But no matter how much he analyzed, peace remained elusive. Overthinking occurs when we mistake our thoughts for absolute truth. The monk realized that just as the millstone grinds rice without creating it, the mind produces thoughts without necessarily reflecting reality. Thoughts are fleeting, often shaped by fears, biases, and incomplete information. When we take them as the ultimate truth, we lose our grip on what is real. This insight is liberating. Imagine standing by a river, watching leaves float downstream. Each leaf represents a thought. When we reach out to grab a leaf, we become fixated. But if we simply observe, letting the leaves drift past, we remain free. Similarly, we can observe our thoughts without clinging to them. Modern psychology echoes this wisdom. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, emphasizes distinguishing between thoughts and facts, reminding us that our interpretations often distort reality. This aligns beautifully with Buddhist teachings, which urge us to view thoughts as clouds passing through the sky, temporary, ever-changing, and beyond our control. In moments of overthinking, I found this teaching deeply grounding. For instance, during times of self-doubt, my mind often spirals into a torrent of what-ifs. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? These thoughts feel overwhelming until I pause and remind myself, these are just stories your mind is telling you. With that shift, the grip of overthinking loosens, and a sense of clarity emerges. First, the monk tried to escape his restless mind by seeking distractions and avoiding his duties. But no matter where he went, his thoughts followed him. It was only when he immersed himself fully in grinding rice, paying attention to the rhythm, the texture, and the simplicity of the task, that his mind began to quiet. This turning point reveals a profound truth. Peace doesn't come from avoiding challenges, but from engaging fully with the present moment. Overthinking thrives on rumination about the past and anxiety about the future. The present moment, however, is free from these burdens. It's the only place where life truly unfolds. In today's fast-paced world, this lesson is more relevant than ever. The constant barrage of notifications, deadlines, and expectations pulls us away from the now. We multitask, scrolling through our phones while eating, working, or even talking to loved ones. This fragmented attention fuels overthinking, leaving us disconnected and overwhelmed. Practical application. Mindfulness offers a powerful antidote. By anchoring ourselves in the present, we disrupt the cycle of overthinking. Simple practices like focusing on your breath, savoring a cup of tea, or walking without distractions can transform ordinary moments into gateways to peace. One of my favorite exercises is the 5-4-3-2-1 technique, which engages the senses to ground you in the present. Identify 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 you can taste. This practice not only calms the mind but also cultivates gratitude for the richness of the present. The monk's enlightenment didn't come through grand rituals, complex teachings, or mystical experiences. It emerged from the simplicity of grinding rice. This speaks to the transformative power of simplicity, especially in a world that often equates complexity with value. Overthinking thrives in clutter, mental, emotional, and physical. When we overanalyze, we create a tangle of what-ifs, should-haves, and maybes. But clarity emerges when we simplify. By focusing on one task, one decision, or one thought at a time, we create space for insight. Lessons from nature. Nature itself exemplifies simplicity. A tree doesn't overthink its growth. It simply absorbs sunlight, water, and nutrients. The sun doesn't hesitate before rising. It follows its natural course. Similarly, when we strip away unnecessary complexity, we align with the flow of life. This principle applies not only to our thoughts but also to our lifestyles. Consider the minimalist movement, which emphasizes decluttering our spaces and schedules to focus on what truly matters. By letting go of excess, we find freedom not just from physical possessions but also from the mental burden they represent. Real-life reflections. The monk's story is not just an ancient parable. Its lessons resonate deeply in the modern world. Let's explore how these teachings manifest in the lives of individuals who have embraced simplicity, mindfulness, and the present moment. Steve Jobs, the beauty of simplicity. Steve Jobs, the visionary behind Apple, often spoke of simplicity as the ultimate sophistication. He believed that by stripping away the non-essential, we could create something profoundly impactful. His approach mirrors the monk's journey. Clarity comes not from adding more but from subtracting what distracts. Oprah Winfrey, living in the present. Oprah Winfrey, a global icon, attributes much of her success to mindfulness and living in the moment. Through meditation and journaling, she has cultivated the ability to stay present, even amidst immense pressures. Her practice serves as a reminder that grounding ourselves in the now unlocks both peace and potential. Dalai Lama, thoughts are like birds. The Dalai Lama often likens thoughts to birds. Some land briefly in your mind, others fly away quickly. The key, he teaches, is not to chase the birds or cling to them, but to watch them with gentle curiosity. This perspective encapsulates the monk's realization that thoughts are not reality. They are simply visitors passing through. Practical steps to break free from overthinking. The monk's journey offers not only wisdom, but also actionable steps to integrate into our lives. Pause and observe. When overthinking strikes, take a moment to pause. Observe your thoughts without judgment. Remind yourself, these are just thoughts, not facts. Engage fully with the present. Choose a simple task, washing dishes, gardening, or even grinding rice, and immerse yourself in it. Notice the sensations, sounds, and movements. Let the present moment anchor you. Simplify your focus. Write down your worries or tasks. Then prioritize one. By focusing on a single issue, you reduce mental clutter and make space for clarity. Practice mindfulness daily. Dedicate a few minutes each day to mindfulness. Whether through meditation, deep breathing, or mindful walking, these practices train your mind to stay present. Let go of perfection. Overthinking often stems from a desire for perfection. Embrace the imperfection of life, recognizing that mistakes and uncertainties are part of the journey. The story of the rice grinder monk reminds us that the path to peace is not found in overthinking but in letting go. By recognizing that thoughts are not reality, grounding ourselves in the present, and embracing simplicity, we can break free from the trap of overthinking. This journey is not about achieving a perfect state of mind, but about cultivating awareness and compassion, both for ourselves and others. As the monk discovered, enlightenment is not a distant goal. It's a state of being that arises naturally when we stop resisting life and start living fully in the now. So the next time you find yourself caught in the web of overthinking, remember the monk and his millstone. Let go of the need to analyze every thought. Immerse yourself in the simplicity of the present, and watch as clarity unfolds effortlessly. Peace, after all, is not something we achieve, it's something we allow. A modern tale of simplicity and decision-making. Jeff Bezos, the locked door, and the rice grinder monk. Overthinking is a silent thief. It robs us of peace, clarity, and time, leaving behind a whirlwind of mental exhaustion. Whether you're navigating the complexities of modern life or striving for inner peace, the lesson of simplicity has the power to transform. To illustrate, let's weave together the timeless wisdom of the rice grinder monk with the decision-making genius of Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, and a relatable modern parable about the mental traps we create for ourselves. This is not just a story about monks and rice mills, it's about you, me, and everyone who has ever felt stuck, overwhelmed, or consumed by mental chatter. The monk who found freedom in the mundane. Long ago, in a quiet monastery perched on a misty mountain, there lived a monk tormented by his restless mind. While others meditated or found enlightenment through scriptures, this monk wrestled with questions and doubts. His mind spun endlessly like the millstone he used to grind rice, a mundane, repetitive task assigned by the abbot. Day after day, the monk would grind, his thoughts louder than the rhythmic turning of the stone. Am I wasting my life? What if I fail to reach enlightenment? The more he tried to escape these thoughts, the tighter they gripped him. One morning, as the first rays of sunlight spilled into the monastery, the monk's frustration reached a breaking point. Why must I be stuck here grinding rice when others are pursuing true wisdom? He muttered, his hands trembling with irritation. The abbot overheard him and approached with a gentle smile. Why do you think grinding rice isn't the path to wisdom? He asked. The monk blinked in surprise. How can it be? I'm just stuck in this endless cycle. The abbot replied. What if the rice grinder isn't what binds you? What if it's your mind that spins endlessly, not the stone? From the monastery to the modern world, Jeff Bezos and decision-making. Centuries later, the same wisdom is echoed by one of the most successful entrepreneurs of our time, Jeff Bezos. known for his ability to make swift, effective decisions. Bezos is a master at avoiding the paralysis of overthinking. His guiding principle? Make decisions with the information you have, not the information you wish you had. Bezos understands that waiting for perfect clarity often leads to missed opportunities. Instead, he acts decisively, trusting his intuition and the knowledge available at the moment. This approach mirrors the monk's eventual realization. Simplicity clears the path to clarity. The more we complicate our choices with hypothetical scenarios and endless analysis, the more we lose sight of what matters. Bezos' ability to focus on the present moment, rather than obsess over every possible outcome, is the key to his success. Consider Amazon's early days. Bezos faced countless uncertainties. Would people really trust an online bookstore? What if the business failed? Instead of overthinking these risks, he embraced action. Like the monk grinding rice, he found that progress came not from overanalyzing but from engaging fully with the task at hand. Overthinking, the emotional toll. Overthinking doesn't just waste time. It drains our emotional energy. It feels like being trapped in quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. Think about the last time your mind spiraled, reliving an embarrassing moment. Why did I say that? They must think I'm a fool. Replaying a tough conversation. What if I'd said something different? Worrying about the future. What if everything goes wrong? The harder you tried to quiet your mind, the louder it became. That's the paradox of overthinking. It feeds on itself, creating an endless loop. The monk discovered this firsthand. When he finally stopped wrestling with his thoughts and focused solely on grinding rice, on the feel of the stone, the rhythm of his movements, the grain beneath his fingers, his mind began to quiet. He realized that the answers he sought weren't in the noise of his thoughts but in the stillness of the present moment. A relatable modern parable, The Locked Door. To illustrate this lesson, let me share a modern story that might sound all too familiar. A man found himself trapped in a room. The door was heavy and unyielding. In his panic, he pulled, banged, and screamed for help. Hours passed, his frustration mounting. Finally, exhausted, he slumped against the wall and noticed something he had overlooked. The door was unlocked all along. This story is a perfect metaphor for overthinking. In our frantic attempts to solve problems, we often miss the simplest solutions. The harder we push, the more we blind ourselves to the obvious. Like the man in the room, clarity only comes when we stop struggling and take a moment to breathe. Breaking free, practical steps to stop overthinking. The wisdom of the rice grinder monk, Jeff Bezos, and the locked door story offers us actionable insights for breaking free from overthinking. 1. Recognize the loop. The first step to escaping overthinking is awareness. When you catch yourself spiraling, pause and name it. I'm stuck in a thought loop. This simple acknowledgement creates distance, reminding you that your thoughts aren't reality, they're just patterns of the mind. 2. Immerse yourself in mundane tasks. Like the monk grinding rice, focus on a simple, repetitive activity. Washing dishes, folding laundry, or sweeping the floor can ground you in the present moment, giving your mind a break from its relentless spinning. 3. Let go of control. Overthinking often stems from a desire to control every outcome. But the tighter we grip, the more life slips through our fingers. Practice trusting the process. Remind yourself that uncertainty is a natural part of life. 4. Journaling. Writing down your thoughts is a powerful tool for untangling mental chaos. Set a timer for 10 minutes and pour your worries onto the page. You'll often find that the act of writing brings clarity. 5. Shift to gratitude. When your mind fixates on what's wrong, consciously redirect your focus. Think of 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude rewires your brain, helping you see the positive amidst the noise. The ultimate lesson: let the millstone stop. Imagine your mind as a millstone, endlessly grinding. The rice, your thoughts, keeps it spinning. The monk's lesson is simple yet profound. Stop feeding the millstone. When you allow your thoughts to come and go without clinging to them, the millstone slows. In the stillness that follows, you'll find what you've been searching for all along: clarity, peace, and freedom. Like Jeff Bezos making bold decisions with incomplete information, or the man discovering the unlocked door, the answers you seek often lie in simplicity and presence. Let this story be your invitation to pause, reflect, and simplify. Whether you're grinding rice, making a business decision, or navigating life's challenges, remember, peace isn't something you achieve by overthinking. It's something you find when you let go. So, the next time your mind races, ask yourself, what would the monk do? What would Jeff Bezos do? Then take a deep breath, focus on the task at hand, and trust that the answers will come, not from the noise of your thoughts, but from the clarity of the present moment. And when you find that moment of stillness, share it. Encourage others to step off the treadmill of overthinking and embrace the transformative power of simplicity. Let's walk this journey together, one mindful step at a time. Cherry blossom,